Well, hello everyone, and I am so happy to be here on this Monday night live stream talking to some of my favorite people in the whole wide world. I am so glad that you are here. You blessed me so much by your presence and just your support and your community. And you're here for me in the good times, and you're here for me in the bad times. And I want to be here for you and provide some great opportunities for some cool entertainment. And I just want to do a couple things before we bring our friend Thrash Pondo Pawns on the stage here with us. I want to let you know one thing that has happened in the last little while, and that is I've been getting a lot of copyright strikes, and I've been trying to review them with YouTube, and I've submitted two disputes. Apparently the song that I've been using for like over a year, which I got here on YouTube and was really just it was one of those free songs, it says copyright free, and I put in rock music and I used it. But apparently it sounds a lot like a song by Vegan Vampire. And it's not that song at all. But I mean, apparently the robots here at YouTube think that I'm using a Vegan Vampire song, and so I've put in, unfortunately is I've used this song for so long that I don't know where I got it. So I can't give YouTube a reference as far as where it comes from. So I just have said, hey, look, I've been using the song for a year. I got it here on YouTube under copyright free music. It was a rock music. I know it sounds like Vegan Vampire, but it's not. And what sucks about it is it's the song I really like, and it's all bot controlled. So what will happen is I will have to submit it for everyone. It's not like you resolve it once and it goes away on all your other stuff. You have to keep submitting it, and so I might have to continue to like keep submitting a response to YouTube every time, and that actually might cause me to use a different song, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to upload every video and go back through every video I've ever done and type that in. Second thing that's on the agenda tonight is that, and I will go ahead and bring my good friend Thrash Pondo Pawns on with me. How's it going?
I'm maintaining a deep state of mental and spiritual readiness as always.
Well, good for you. I wish I could say the same thing. I kind of could say the same thing, I guess, but whatever. I feel like I'm ready in both spiritually and restful or something. I don't know. Anyway, um, but the other thing is Thrash Pondo Pawns is normally like, he's actually on the co-host on StreamYard, and because you recently changed your email, it won't allow you to do that anymore. It won't allow you to. I have to send it to that old email in order for it to work. But so I use StreamYard, and I use the free version, and the free version allows two people to be on your board. So I took your old email off and I tried to put your new email on, and it said you only get two people. And I'm like, well, I just took one of them off. And so I think that it may take a little bit of time to for
Have to
the
update. Yeah.
update. Sometimes if you do something right away, the site doesn't recognize it yet. So those are the things that are on the agenda tonight. With that in mind, we're going to be talking about all things antiquated or all things obsolete. Uh,
Archaic.
yeah, archaic. We did a show on that, and now it's your guys' turn to chime in. But before we jump to that, we just need to say hi to some people here on the channel. So
Lance Javen says, Hiya, Ian and Thrash. Lance goes on to say, Ian, will you be on this Tug, you and Thrash on Sunday?
oh, yeah, I will be on with you and Tug. Yes, awesome. Yeah, I'm looking
Excellent.
forward to that. Very much looking forward to that.
Excellent. Daryl Johnson, my other brother, is here. Says, hey, Lance.
Hey, Lance. Hey, Daryl. I don't know. Did we even say? I just read a couple of comments, but I'm not sure we said hi. We'll make sure we said hi to you, and then hi to Daryl as well. And Daryl also writes,
Hit the like button.
yes, please, by all means,
Multiculturally.
hit that like button. And I'm seeing Lance, and then here we got actually a first comment as well.
John Collins is with us, and he
How
says,
you doing,
"Hello,
John?
Ian, Bob, and everyone. It's interesting that you all mentioned audio cassette tapes in your previous discussion. I use them to receive messages from my biological mom while I was in foster care."
Oh wow, did she record a tape for you and send it or something like that? What's interesting is that sparks a memory myself as well. By the way, hi John, glad you could be with us. But there was so when I went to first grade, I had a really hard time in first grade, and I got shifted around to three different teachers, and and because we had such a hard time in first grade, my mom actually moved to another city to work as a nurse, and she was going to establish it, but she didn't want to take me out of school because we just got to a teacher that I really liked, and she used to, and it was a faraway city. It was actually Portland, Oregon, and I was living in California, so she moved to Portland, and she used to send me tapes too of her recording and playing me and reading to me, reading stories and stuff like that. That was a really hard time for her to be moving away, but she didn't want to uproot me because we just got to a teacher that I liked. All right, and let's see.
Keith E is in the house, says, "Hello, did anyone mention we used to have music videos on music channels?"
Yes, we did. I was great, wasn't it? I mean, I remember MTV when they played music. It's kind of a
It's a
joke right now.
It's like that line in Bowling for Soup when there was music still on MTV.
Bowling for Soup.
Bowling for Soup. They did that song. Their biggest hit was "Stuck" in 1985,
Oh yeah, okay, all right, yeah, yeah. I
and
didn't know
now
that
they're
was the name
considered
of the band.
oldies.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really loved the music, and then I remember the music started getting shorter too. Before it finally just faded out, it was shorter. Is there music on MTV now?
I haven't put on MTV in 15 years.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even know if there even is any music on MTV. It just got started getting crowded out with other programming,
Reality
and
TV and what
yeah,
not.
and then that started to be more. And they even had MTV Two. Remember MTV Two?
No, I never bothered.
Oh, you didn't hear about? Oh, this was a long, long time ago. There's MTV Two. Anyway, all right, well, cool. Yeah, we used to have MTV and music on television. Then for a while, who carried the mantle was VH1.
Oh, I remember VH1.
And then VH1 started getting into more programming. But quite honestly, the VH1 programming for me was more exciting. I liked it, but there was more behind the scenes music. I loved watching biographies about music and stuff like that. So I was happy with VH1. Let's see. A lot of conversation going back and forth. Oh, look who we got in the house.
Tracy Ross Myers is here. Says, "Hey guys,
Hello,
Tracy
Tracy.
Bubala, good to see you."
Glad to see you, Tracy.
Mhm.
All right, and look who else is here.
Danny Staten says, "Greetings from South Carolina." Oh, and I saw an earlier post he made too. He said that in commiserations to your problem with copyright strikes, he got 110 strikes in a 4-minute period. I
Oh
think that's
wow,
the record. So,
wow, that's crazy.
mm,
Yeah, what a bummer. So Danny, so listen, if you're listening out there, we really want to do the to do well, I mean, if you're busy, you're busy, and I understand, but we really want to do the WWF episode. But I need you to contact me through email so we can set up a good time for you. And Justin Eilert is going to do it. It wants to do it too. And if you can, if I don't hear from you, then I don't want you to feel bad if we proceed without you. But I don't want to proceed without you. I want you there because you're going to be the guy who knows the most about it. But we would like to do it like a week from Wednesday, and it won't be a lot. Well, I don't know. We might do just the live one, and then well, normally what we do is we do the podcast and the live one. but please let me know if you're available, if you are available. So just reach me through my website, not my website, but my email, which is on my contact pages on YouTube. Would love to get you on the program. All right, let's see here.
Kevin Davis is with us. He says, hello there.
Hi, Kevin. Let's see. Awesome to have you with us. And oh yeah, this is the one where he says,
Jenny Staten says, LOL, I got 110 strikes in 4 minutes. RIP, Daily Dan's the good stuff.
yeah, that's a bummer. Just a bunch of them just right in a row. Oh, and Tracy Reichmeyer says,
Hi, Ian.
hi, hi, Ian. Hi, Tracy. Love the little heart there. Love you. All right, let's see. And we got any comments as far as Cindy? Cindy D also
Cindy
writes.
D says, hello, everyone. Hello, Thrash and ENC.
Glad to have you with us, Cindy. I'm holding my neck a little weird. I'm sorry. I keep doing stuff to straighten my neck out. I went back to jujitsu last week and just trying to keep myself out of trouble, and and I hurt my neck. And I was at work today, and oh my gosh. Anyway, it's part of it. It's part of it. All right, let's see here.
Jenny Staten says, I'm lucky with a 4-leaf clover to be here. And we're lucky to have you.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's see. We got some more people here we haven't said hi to yet.
Tom the Hungry Jerk says, hi, everyone. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Tom. Nice to see you. I want to hear about everyone hear about um everybody's nostalgia, your retro, your obsolete technologies and obsolete activities and stuff like that. Let's hear about them all.
Cindy D says, sorry, I will miss your stream. I have to work, Lance Chafin. That must
Oh,
be this coming Sunday afternoon.
the one
You will be
from
with us in spirit.
right, right. Mm, let's see. Uh, Here we go. Let's start this
Kevin
off.
Davis says, there is MTV classic stations.
Oh, wow. Well, I didn't even know that. Again, I mean, I remember MTV was such a big part of my life, and it was like the radio. You didn't know what was going to come on. You kind of knew the popular songs, and you wanted to see the videos, and um, and you were just hoping that if you watched MTV or the video you really enjoyed would come on. But now, if you want to watch a video, you just type it into
Go on
YouTube and
YouTube.
watch the video. It's
Now,
amazing.
correct me if I'm wrong. MTV is now 40 years old, correct?
Came out in 1980 or 83 or 81 or something like
I
that. I
thought it
can't
was
remember.
82. It might have been
Oh,
81 now that you mentioned it, but we'll call it approximately 40 years old. Isn't that
yeah,
amazing?
that is amazing. It's great. Well, what's going to be interesting is people today don't know like how like you had to wait for TV shows and stuff. It's like now the show starts when you play the button. You don't have to worry about it. You're not going to miss anything.
John Cohen says yes. She would send me them in the mail so I could play them over and over.
Oh, cool. Very cool. I mean, sad that you were separated from her, but cool that she at least kept in contact with you that way. And look who it is.
Terrell Eugene Bellinger is in the house. Hey, Teb.
Hey,
Says
Ted.
MTV is nothing but reality TV trash these days. There's no room for music videos on TV anymore.
Yeah, I guess not. Not a lot of room for. There's really not a lot of room for much anymore. And Superplex had mentioned this a number of times about the demise of the big three, NBC, ABC, and CBS, and how it's just pretty much going to go to streaming. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch anything on TV anymore at all. I watch it all on streaming. So very interesting. What about you? Do you watch anything on TV anymore?
Occasionally, but mostly Netflix and HBO Max. Oh, and Teb goes on to say MTV was launched on August 1st, 1981. Hopes that this helps. It certainly does, Teb. Thank
It
you.
does. All right, let's see.
Superplex is here. Hey, Superplex, what's going on? Cable TV is going the way of the dodo bird, thankfully.
Yeah, cable is over. Just like, I don't know, just like landlines are pretty much a thing of the past.
Tom goes on to say, loved old MTV Headbangers Ball.
Yes, I loved Headbangers Ball too. That one guy, I forgot his name, who hosted it. Um, he's been on the Joe Rogan podcast a number of times. He was the main host for the Headbangers Ball. I forgot his name. Oh
Me
well,
too.
it'll come to me. But I still no. There it was Ricky. There was a guy later on who did it a lot, but before him was the blonde-haired guy who kind of had his hair spiked up a little bit. Uh, anyway, he's a very interesting fellow. He's called the Pod Father because I guess he was kind of one of the first people to ever do podcasting. So he's been in the podcasting world for a very, very long time.
Oh, Sean Innes is here. Hello, Sean. And he says, Ricky Rockman.
Ricky Rockman, the guy before Ricky Rockman, is who I was talking about. The guy.
Cindy D then says, I wrote a column on MTV on Medium. I said the MTV generation are now senior citizens.
We're getting there. I mean, I think we're approaching that era. I don't know if I'm. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you were like 18 or 19 when MTV came out, you're there.
You're getting
But,
pretty close.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, look who else is here with us.
Scott Barnes is with us. Says, good evening, all. Hello to you, Scott.
Glad you could be joining us. And okay, let's see.
Danny Staten says, Pons has my contact info. I don't email. I do have his contact info, and I will enlighten you with it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
John Collins says, Bob, I can't wait to hear your segment on the radio. He seems a few weeks behind on the YouTube setup. Yeah, I got a contact from him. He was a week behind. So, with any luck at all, my segment should appear this weekend.
Oh, good.
Thank you for asking, John. I appreciate it. Cindy D says, I remember 45 record singles. My brother bought his first one, Mary Jane by Rick James, LOL.
Did you own any 45s at all?
I certainly did. I love 45s. I started when I was a kid. My mom bought me some. I had one of those little record players that look like a briefcase.
Yeah.
And you'd wet up the cord and you pop it in. I had one of those. I got that for like my 5th, 6th birthday. Can't remember. But she got me like the Monster Mash. I love the Monster Mash.
Yes. Yeah.
And a couple of the novelty songs, which elude me for the moment. But I played the Monster Mash until it disintegrated.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't think of a 45 that I ever owned. I had a few records, and as we both mentioned on the show, that you and I were both more of a tape people. But I did have a few records. I started off with records, but I never got a 45. But I don't know if you remember this. This kind of sparks my memory. Do you remember the Casingle?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Where you could buy just a single song with a B-side to it. And I remember the Casingles came out, and I had, I don't know when they came out, but I had a girlfriend, and she would play these two songs over and over again. She would play Wicked Games by
Chris Isaac.
Chris Isaac. And Wild Wild West by Living in the 90s, the Wild Wild West. You know that song?
The Escape Club.
The Escape Club, yes.
The Escape Club.
And those are the only two singles she had. And we're just driving around. I think maybe I was 17. And she just keep playing them over and over again. She's over and over again. And I was just like, oh my gosh, okay. All right. Well, enough of those singles. I had a few of them myself, but I don't remember which ones I had. Probably some heavy metal of some kind. All right. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Zuplik says jukeboxes are a thing of the past too.
Yeah, I jukeboxes are they totally a thing of the past? Can you still play them at some places?
You still see them from time to time in some bars, some pizza houses, but what they don't have is they don't have discs in them where you put the money in and you see the whole.
Yeah.
It's that whole interactive thing where it's like a robot DJ. Now they're all digitized inside the jukebox, and they just play. So it's not quite the same experience. If that makes any sense,
Oh, that
it's like
makes sense.
all I want to
Totally.
say is where's the love? You can still play your songs, but it's not so amazing. When I was a little
Right.
kid, I remember when I was a little kid, my dad we had a ritual. On his way into work, he would drop me off at the at my not was it before kindergarten, the preschool. He dropped me off at preschool, and we would stop at breakfast at this little diner place, and each of the tables had their own little mini jukebox. And we'd either
I remember that too. Yes.
yeah, we'd play something by Creedence Clearwater Revival, or we'd play American Pie. Those were our numbers.
Oh yeah. Right on.
And yeah,
Yeah, no, I
I miss
remember
those.
I remember places like you could play songs at your table,
Hmm.
but what
Hmm.
sucked about it is everybody could hear it, and then it would like interfere with other people's, like you could hear the other people, like, and you wanted to hear your own. Did you ever have that happen to you?
Not that I recall. Not that I
It
recall.
was kind of a bummer. I could see because you could have the little, you do the little thing, little punch in numbers and stuff. The place I remember really playing the jukebox is at Pizza Hut. That's really where I
Oh
remember
yes,
playing the jukebox.
they recently closed the last Pizza Hut on Cape Cod. By the way, I was just talking
Oh,
to Dave about it.
oh.
Love Pizza Hut back in the day. Oh, Zuplik says the Yellow Pages. I can't remember the last time I saw Yellow Pages.
Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. They don't even need that anymore. That's a thing of the past. I think. Oh, yeah. And did you ever advertise in the Yellow Pages for anything?
Um, Myself personally, no. A couple places I worked in over the years did, but you know what my Yellow Pages story is. Anyone here seen Falcon and the Snowman?
No.
Anyway, love Falcon and the Snowman. And I remember I was watching it with a friend of mine, another movie buff. And there's a scene where they're torturing Sean Penn and they're hitting him with a phone book on the back, like wham. And he's like going basket case. And I'm like, oh, come on. It's just a bunch of paper. That couldn't possibly hurt. And my buddy and I would get to talking about it. And I go, here, you know what? Do me a favor here. Take this phone book, hit me in the back as hard as you possibly can, and I will let you know if it actually hurts. And well, apparently this kid really liked the idea of someone actually giving him a free shot. So he got his money worth, and he like Conan, the lamentation of the women, and he hit me so hard. I swear to God, I thought I was going to pass out for a second. I'm like,
Because it was so hard, and you're like,
it
okay.
really. Little secret, yes, being hit with a phone book did really hurt, which is probably why they took them off the market. It was a safety issue, but that's my phone. Every time I see a phone book,
Now, did it leave a bruise? We have to ask
oh
ourselves.
no, but
So
I
that's why that was the whole trope with phone books is that they don't leave a bruise. You can put it up against somebody and hit them. And we used to do that in martial arts. We used to take people and put phone books on them, and
uh-huh.
then we would do the 1 inch punch or a soft punch on them, and it would absorb the shock a little bit for them, and then they could feel the power. Like feel the weight of the fist through the phone book. But I wasn't sure if it ever left a bruise or not. But that was the idea: is you didn't leave any bruises when you used a phone book.
I found that out years later. If you hit them with like sticks or chairs or stuff like that, that will leave horrible, horrible bruises. Phone books really, really hurt. So, but they don't leave a mark. So, if you work the prisoner over, and then Amnesty International shows up, you can say, "We didn't beat him. You see, he looks fine." And the guy's like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I'm fine."
You found out later
Horrible.
that if you hit somebody with a chair, it leaves a bruise.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
that kind of goes without saying. But I
I
found out
know.
later, the phone book trick is something people in interrogation knew
Yeah.
the phone book trick. I talked to somebody who
Right.
had been in interrogation. He goes, "Oh yeah,
Right.
phone books are great because they don't leave marks."
Yeah. Well,
Sick.
cool.
Kevin Davis says, "I believe that pinball machines are gone."
I haven't seen a pinball machine in ages, man, in ages. So I can't. I mean, I can't speak to it, but
The
it's
hotel
you.
I worked at had a game room, and we still had a few pinball machines, a few,
How long
but
ago
they're
was that?
very rare. Last summer.
Oh,
Last summer,
okay.
I left. I left in July.
Yeah, they're more of a thing of nostalgia than they are like a I don't know, like an arcade kind of thing. But I guess maybe some people still do it for arcade stuff. And guess who's here?
John Doe is with us, and he says, "Finally here, John. So good to see you."
I wonder if John Doe has heard the Nate Bargatze joke about John and Jane Doe. Have you heard his joke about John and Jane Doe?
I have
Oh,
not.
it's pretty funny because he's talking about how dumb he is. He's like, and he was just thinking about something that happened to him 30 years ago. His first job was at Opryland theme park, and he met people who they said their name was John and Jane Doe, and then 30 years later, he's like, I bet they were kidding about that. He's like, no way, John and Jane Doe. He says, you know what? I'll look them up. Turns out, not so good.
Mercy.
Oh,
Oh, Dave Cloney's here.
oh, cool, Dave. I don't see him
Hi,
yet, but when
Dave.
we get to him,
He's further down. He says Denny's restaurants, and he's right. It's been decades since I've seen a Denny's.
Denny's is still kicking.
But it's been years since I've seen one. I'm sure there's still some left in the country.
There's tons where I am. Maybe it's got to be regional. Because
Could be
they're
original thing.
where I'm from that we have two of them, and then there's a bunch in Colorado, and I think there's one here as well. I mean, so I don't know. Maybe it's regional because I
Well,
know.
nothing you mentioned.
Go ahead.
There were a lot of restaurant franchises that sort of had renaissances in the 80s that have disappeared. Particular favorite, I remember when I went down to visit my father in Raleigh, this would have had to have been around 89. He took me to this new emerging burger place called Fuddruckers. Ever been?
Yeah, I know, but I've never been there, but I've heard of it. Yes.
At the time, it was the fastest growing franchise in the country. He was actually considering opening one himself, and it had a great stick. It was like at a Ponderosa, where the gimmick was the burger bar, like a salad bar. So you'd get your
Okay.
plain patty and you put anything you want on it at like this burger bar. And it was so great. The problem was they found out it wasn't cost effective. So to make it more financially salvageable, they stopped doing that. Unfortunately, that was the whole gimmick.
Yeah.
So the whole thing sort of imploded, which is a pity. They had great burgers, but it was another little thrash anecdote. When I was in college, I actually came up with the idea of my own pizza franchise that was going to be the same premise. You were given a plain pizza,
Yeah.
and you could go over to a salad bar situation and you put all the toppings you wanted on it. You made your own pizza. You would then give it back to the clerk who would bake it for you. And you do like kids' parties like at Build-A-Bear where you'd bring in like 18 children and they'd all be making their own pizzas and having fun. Yeah. And you know what the place was going to be called?
What?
The Panhandler.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's a good name.
But the only problem was I talked to some people in like my business school, and they said not cost effective. The kids would just come in and they'll go glob, glob, glob. There'd be no way to control food costs. So
well, you control it by weight, just like a frozen yogurt.
yeah, but where's the fun in that? You know,
No
one's going to go to a
fun. Yeah,
no one's going to go to a salad bar if they charge you by weight.
But it's not a salad bar. It's a pizza bar.
But it's
so
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think they put whatever toppings you want on it, and then you charge it by weight. The more toppings, the heavier it is, the more it costs.
You think I
That
should
seems
revisit the idea?
I think that's a fantastic idea. If they said cost effective, I would have been like, just charge by weight, So it's just like at the frozen yogurt place. You can have a little bit of frozen yogurt, or you can have a big old tall thing of frozen yogurt. You put it on thing, how much ever it weighs, that's what you pay. And you just I don't know. I think it's a great idea.
Well, thank
But
you. Thank you. I appreciate
so,
that.
all
Thank you.
right.
And let's see
Let's
what else we can do.
see.
Zublik says magazines in general.
Yeah, I think that magazines are. People still kind of like magazines. I know I don't hate them. People are saying the same thing about books. That books are kind of going away, but I love my books. I love actually having books. I actually love to have. Even though I'm not a great reader, as everybody knows, I do enjoy the book uh, thing when I have to do research or something. I enjoy having the book rather than on the online thing. But magazines, I don't know. I haven't really bought any magazines lately.
I haven't either, but it broke my heart when I found out they were discontinuing Mag Magazine. When they pulled the
Oh,
plug on Mad, I was shattered.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Love my Mad magazines. Oh, Cindy D says tape recorders are gone. I used to make mixtapes on them quietly so I wouldn't pick up the sound.
Yeah. I mean, they're gone. The tape recorder. I think the last I heard is apparently there's kind of a big for market for tape players in prisons, but I heard that a while ago that in that they still make them for prisoners, for people who are on the inside. I don't know why, but I mean, but basically but the actual recording, so you could self record like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, that is, I think that's gone. And then the tape, I can't even remember the last time I had a tape player. It was quite a while ago. We talked about that a little bit though.
We sure did, and it was part of our culture. The idea you really like somebody, you make them a mixtape. Ooh, wow! I made all these songs because I was thinking about you when I listened to them, and that type of thing. It was a whole '80s puppy love thing, you know.
Oh yeah. I never made one for anybody. Had one made for me though. I
That's
talked
even
about
better. That's
yeah.
even better.
Yeah. I didn't think it was a thing though. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Scott Barnes says we recently. Oh, I'm sorry. We were recently moving a piece of furniture, and we found a bunch of music cassette tapes. Some purchased, others my own mixtapes.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Old purchased ones, man. I still have a lot of tapes. I haven't really thrown them away.
I have a box of them somewhere, and one day when I clean out my well, it's the room under the stairs. I call it the Harry Potter room. It's
Yeah.
basically a glorified closet, but because I live in a split level, I have that big sort of wraparound closet under my stair foyer, and I got a bunch of stuff in there that I just stuck in there when we moved and never went through there since. And someday I'll go through it because I'm sure that's where I keep that box of mixtapes I have.
Well, yeah, I have I haven't thrown any away because I mean it's like one day I want to go through them, and because there's some stuff on there like from when I was a kid, and some of my stuff that my mom sent me still, that I was talking about earlier, is still there. Still somewhere. I still have it. I've never thrown it away, but I couldn't tell you where it is. It's in a box somewhere, so it's difficult to really through those things and throw them away. We got one here.
Suplex says 411, the telephone number is hardly used today. I know.
Is it
He's
even? I
right.
don't. Do we use it still? I didn't even know it was still around. That's
I
crazy.
didn't think it was still around. Well, they started charging for it, so I stopped using it. But yeah,
Yeah.
no one really needs it anymore. But yeah, it's an excellent point.
Didn't they used to charge for 411 back in the day anyway?
They
Didn't it come
didn't
on your phone bill?
they didn't initially. Initially it was free, but they started asking people to not use it so much it was abusing the system, but people just kept doing it cuz it's so convenient. so they started charging for it, and then people stopped using it altogether.
Well, they would save a lot of money if they just stopped making. Oh,
Uh
Thrash,
oh.
your
Oh
video went
no.
out.
Uh oh. Am I back?
Well, no, your video isn't. We can hear you fine.
Oh, here we are.
Uh-oh. Well, Thrash is gone. But let me just say that I always thought this was weird that the phone people would charge 411, but they'd give you a phone book for free. And I was just like, stop making the phone books. They cost so much dang money. Just let us use 411 for free. And then that's how you'd save all your money. But I guess they make their money on their phone book because there's advertising in the phone book. Lance Chaffinwright, weekly TV shows you had to wait for and not instantly like today. Yes, yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, now it's you push play. But they still have weekly things, that they do on streaming services. And Cindy D writes, the cassette penny tape club. Oh, yes. The 11. Jesus, there's a meme out there about Jesus still knows that you owe those people money. So, that was great. I never got it. I tried to get the 10 tapes or 11 tapes for a penny on a couple of occasions, but I guess they knew I was underage. But I had other friends who were not underage who did try it. And Tracy Rothmeyers writes, the last surviving guy from Leonard Skinner has passed away. Just found out. Oh no, how terrible. Thrash, you're back with us.
Not sure what happened, but the thing to do is to bounce out and come back in.
Yeah, your sound's a little off at this point, but
is it?
Yeah.
Here, tell you what.
That's not helping at all. No.
I know exactly what happened. Hold that thought. I'm going to fix it. Because I know what I'm doing now.
Ken Davis says, I can't recall the last thing I watched on the old 3 networks. I can't really either. I mean, the last thing I was into was Lost. That was actually on TV that I waited for on a weekly basis. Yes, that was. Your sound is still very, very muffled, but it's okay.
It is?
Yeah, it's like it's not coming from that. I think you have to go into your sound thing.
And I do. I'll be back.
And yeah. All right, and Keith E. Internet killed the video channel, but nobody made a song about that. That's right. Yeah, we don't have internet killed all kinds of stuff. And Lance Chafin writes, phones with cords. Yes, phones with cords. Love phones with cords. We talked about that, like when you're trying to get some privacy. So you drag the phone to a door and you close it and you have it under the phone cord under the door. That was great. And Superplex writes, car hops. They were virtually a 1950s things. Yeah, there's still some nostalgia car hops, but I don't think that they're as effective. I think it's just cost ineffective, basically, to do the drive-through. And I was watching something. I think McDonald's was credited with making the first drive-through, or they stole it, or something like that. And they were part of getting rid of car hops, because McDonald's, what they did originally was have people come up to the window and order their food, then take it back to their car, and then that was cost effective for them. But I do believe, I can't remember, I almost think it was maybe it wasn't McDonald's, but there was something out there about, and it was like, oh, I can't believe those guys came up with the first idea of a drive-through window. It was some crazy thing. All right. MTV VJs. Yes, they're gone too. Yikes. And let's see. Thrash, are you back?
Can you hear me now?
Absolutely. Sounds great.
Persistence pays off.
Yeah, you got it. We're all
That's the
good.
one thing I hate about this laptop. When you go out and back in, you have to rechange all the settings. And I keep forgetting that because it defaults to everything. I'm probably just going to dismantle or deactivate or default.
The other. You got to go to default.
Scott Barnes says, Zuplex, I ran across a digital jukebox at a diner near me the other day. Tough to justify $1 for a song. It
Yeah,
is, isn't it?
that's a really tough one.
Mm.
Um,
John Collins says, Adam Curry.
yes, that's the guy I was thinking of, Adam Curry. He was the guy before Ricky Rackman or whatever it is. Yeah.
Sean Innes says, was he Dutch ENC?
I think this goes back to the MTV thing I was talking about. It was Adam Curry. He might have been Dutch. He didn't speak with a Dutch accent. Let's see.
Cindy D says, over 55 is considered senior citizen. LOL.
Oh, wow.
Then I'm a senior citizen. Zuplik says, True Scott, you can now hear the song on YouTube without paying for it.
Oh, I wonder what they were talking about there, but oh well.
Oh, they were talking. Remember the jukebox had $1 per song?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Teb says Club MTV with Downtown Julie Brown and The Grind with Eric from season 1 of The Real World. Both were MTV's attempt to cash in on other dance shows like American Bandstand and Soul Train.
Yeah. Oh, well, I love Downtown Julie Brown.
She was hot.
She was one of my all-time favorites. Eric from season 1 of The Real World, I wasn't such a fan of. I was kind of over it by then. But the Downtown Julie Brown one, yeah, the American Bandstand kind of rip-off. I actually did enjoy that and watched it from time to time.
Wasn't she engaged to Billy Idol at one point?
I don't know. I have no idea.
There's a bell ringing in my head. It's probably my tinnitus, but I think she may have been engaged to Billy Idol.
All right, let's see.
Keith Davis says, I don't recall how much I spend on cassettes just for 2 or 3 songs.
A cassette with 2 or 3 songs. I remember the 2 songs, but
no, I know what he's driving at. Cassettes were like albums. You'd buy this album, and there were really only 2 or 3 songs on it that you really, really wanted to.
Right.
That's why greatest hits albums were so great, because then usually most of the songs are ones you wanted. But yeah, I forget what it was. I was really into Bowie for a while, and I bought a Bowie album, and I remember I only liked like a couple of the tracks on it. And I remember, I kept the album, but I was a little disappointed. I said, from now on, I'll know more of the songs on it before I buy it.
That was always a bummer, to buy a whole album with only one track on it, and that you like. That was even a problem, although less of a problem with CDs, because you could still have that problem where you'd have a CD and you'd only like 1 or 2 tracks on it, and you had to buy the whole album, but at least you could skip to that song that you liked. And then these record stores started doing the, viewing, like you could listen to it. Remember that, where you could listen, where you could, and they'd have samples, sample CDs out there, and they were even doing that in like Kmart and Walmart as well for a little while, where you would go up to the CD thing and you could go through and sample CDs. Didn't last. Did you remember that in Kmart and Walmart, or no?
I remember it more in like bookstores and music stores. Like Sam Goody did it for a while.
Yes.
But the problem with cassette tapes is, with an album, you could just pick up the needle and move it over to the next song you liked.
Yeah.
Cassettes, you had to hit that fast forward, and you had to kind of wing it because you didn't know how long the song was on fast forward. As I've spoken about on many occasions, my favorite soundtrack of all time is heavy metal. I love the heavy metal soundtrack, and I must have fast forwarded over True Companion 4,987 times because it just didn't belong on that album. And, the rest of it's like, you're rocking out and the True Companion, nope, bye, no, thank you.
Right.
And yeah, I think the first copy I had, I think I wore it out just because I was fast forwarding during that one patch, and it caused a weak spot in the tape, I think. Yeah,
if you fast forward and rewind a lot, it does cause the tape to wear out quicker, which kind of sucks. But yeah, the tape, yeah. I didn't have that problem too much. I would always like get an album and then like pretty much all of it, all of the tape. There were a couple of times where, but where that happened. But for the most part, I stuck with bands that I liked. Like when the new Motley Crue album would come out, of course I was going to like every song on there. And then it was it was a lot of that. There were some things that happened. Like I got a band called the Sleaze Bees, and they were a heavy metal band, and they had a song on MTV that I really liked, and then I ended up not liking the rest of the tape. So, and it was about $10 a tape, so it was pretty cool.
Ozublik says care packages.
I still don't. I'm not sure if care packages are not a thing anymore, because I think they're still a thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, the last time I saw care packages was actually when I was in college, and like around finals week, you'd get like these like boxes of like snacks and sodas and tapes and things to get you through the finals week. But
from somebody who cares, from your mom or somebody.
Oh yeah, your mom or your aunt and uncle or those people. Yeah. I don't know
maybe
why
they just send you a gift card now.
Exactly, a vanilla card as opposed to a box of things.
That's what I like for Christmas these days. I'm like, just get me gift cards. I know it doesn't look that impressive under the tree, but believe me, if you want to make me happy, give me gift cards to places I actually go to and things that I actually buy. I always don't like it when people give me some gift card to someplace I never go. And they're like, oh, I thought you'd like to try this. I'm like, I think you ought to learn the meaning of the word where I go, the words where I go. I get a little curmudgeon-y about
the Hallmark store. Gee, thanks.
The Hallmark store.
Next time I need stationery, I'll be all hooked up,
Like I had so many movie gift cards because we never used to go to the movie, and people give us movie gift cards. And then one of my most disappointing birthdays was somebody gave me a gift card to a movie theater. I'm like, thanks a lot. And it was people who knew better too. They gave me a gift. Like, bad gifts are really bad for me. I remember one time, I don't even have a record player. And it was nice because I got Nirvana for my birthday. It was cool to have a Nirvana record, but I'm like, I don't even have a record player. Why would I need a record? And they're like, oh, well, we thought you'd want to start a collection. I don't want to start a collection. I want something good for my birthday is what I want. Oh, man. Okay, I'll shut up now. Let's see. What else we got here?
Teb says, in the 80s, boomers were watching soapy nighttime dramas like Dallas and Dynasty, but in the 90s, Gen X had theirs with Beverly Hills 90210 and Melrose Place.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Do you remember the Ben Stiller show?
Oh, yeah.
One of the funniest bits he did, it was making fun of this sort of Gen Xers nighttime soap opera, and it was Melrose Heights 90210, because it was a combination of like all the big three, and it was basically just Gen Xers whining about how tough they had it, and it was so funny. It was one of the best bits they did. I was so bummed when they canceled his show. Because I thought it was one of the most innovative sketch comedy shows I'd seen. Yeah.
Let's see.
Tracy Rosmeyer says the Discman and the Watchman.
I think she meant Walkman.
You're probably right, unless she's referring to the comic book.
Oh, doubt it.
It probably is the Walkman. You're probably right.
Yeah, Walkman was the greatest. I think. Oh, there's a comment above Vicinity mentioned the Walkman was your best friend. But yeah, the Discman, the Walkman, the Discman skipped, but they solved that pretty quickly. Next Generation did pretty good. Believe it or not, though, my favorite was the Walkman. My favorite was just the tapes, because you could do record a bunch of songs on it. And the Discman, you'd have to change discs out, or the tape player, you could get like a really long tape and record a bunch of songs you liked. And I mean, people still were making homemade discs, but you had to have them all digital first. All the songs you wanted to have digital first, and then you had to do it on computer. And at the time, I just didn't really understand computers that well to be able to make a mixed CD. It became better later, but by the time that happened, I was well into streaming or MP3s.
You know what? I learned something actually, and I had both. I had a over the years because they just disintegrated. I had a Walkman that played cassette tapes, but I also had one that was a radio, and I
Yeah,
actually liked the radio better. And I'll tell you why I like the radio better. The radio required far less drain on the batteries.
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, yeah, you listen to the commercials, but who cares? You're on your bike, you're riding around, you just tune those out. And a Walkman, if you could go 5 days without having to change the batteries, you weren't using it enough. But the radio, man, you could you get the entire summer on
yeah,
4 AA's. So
yeah.
I preferred that. Before that, you know what I had done? I took a transistor radio and I duct taped it to my bike. And that's how I had music on my bike first before I
Oh,
actually
that's
got
cool.
my
That's awesome, man.
crude but effective. Kevin Davis says, "Well, I remember the modem to connect to BSS before the internet."
I don't know what was before. I don't know what BSS is before the internet. I know what a modem is, and I remember dial-up too. But
Bing, bing.
what's I don't know. I don't know what BSS is.
I'm not 100%. I think that was like an earlier form of where you'd have to actually dial in,
Uh,
but I'm not 100%. Um, Zublik says, Rolodexes. Rolodexes. That's the thing that would be on a
yeah,
desk, and it had cards with everyone's phone numbers on it.
yeah. Those are gone. Those are gone, gone. Thing of the past. Let's see.
Sean Ennis says, "Remember wrestlers or other strong men ripping telephone books?" That's going way back to our conversation on phone books. But yes, I remember. Danny Staten says, "Remember the drive-in movies? I thought they were gone forever, but they're remodeling and reopening the old drive-in in Anderson, South Carolina, where I went as a kid."
Cool. That's really cool that they're reopening them. I don't know why they. I really don't know why the history of why they became unpopular, other than I do know that they were kind of started to be unsafe places, and so I know they kind of went downhill after that. And you were talking too about how like some areas like it's not very cost effective because you can only in the winters you can't use them basically, so they're kind of a summer thing. So I can see that. But I mean, overall, in a place that's nice, man, drive-in theaters I think are the best. I loved them. I don't know why. I don't know what the reason was that they started falling out of favor.
Oh, Cindy D says, "Mall apocalypse. Malls were an 80s staple via Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Ain't that the truth?
Right. Yes.
Ain't that the
Loved
truth?"
loved them all. Still love them all.
Well, they're
Still go.
closing them left and right. They closed a mall I worked at in Taunton, Mass. They closed one in Lanesboro. They're closing malls left and right. Some of the bigger ones are still sticking out. They still have one on Cape Cod,
Yeah.
but it's the darndest thing. I remember, this is a true story. I remember I worked there years ago, and it used to be around November, December. You couldn't park in the mall parking lot. They had offshoot parking lots that they would offer shuttle buses to actually bring you to the mall from these auxiliary parking spots, and it was like shoulder to shoulder. And even the crappy stores had a long line. The malls were just busy around the holiday season. And the last time I went to a mall in December, you'd have thought it was like a Wednesday afternoon in July. There was like nothing going on.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
People still shop there, but it's nothing like it used to be. Nothing like it used to be.
No, it's not. It really isn't like it used to be, but Like the where I'm at right now, the mall's kind of a big place. Like I've gone in there a few times, but it's mostly like it's almost mostly like an amusement park because there's like rides in there and stuff, and people are kind of there more for that than they are just like to shop at like a clothing store or something like that.
Tracy says Woolworths and Burger Chef.
Yes. Well, I don't. What's Worldsworth? What's that?
Woolworths, it was the old five and dime stores. Um, it was sort of like a low end Christmas tree shop where
Okay.
what they would do is they would gather up. Usually, a place goes out of business. They sell their merchandise off for pennies on the dollar. Woolworths bought it up and then would sell it cheap, but at a markup. So they were always they had very very low overhead, so they could sell very 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 cost effectively, and they were around forever. And unfortunately, they just didn't survive. They eventually fell out of favor, and there's still a couple around in the country, but not many.
Mm. I know Burger Chef. I've never been to one, but certainly heard about them. Have you ever been to a Burger Chef?
Yes, yes. In fact, they actually had one. It was a holdup. They had one in Cape Cod for years. It's gone now. But they even had an old A&W. Remember
Oh,
the
really?
A&Ws? They even
Oh,
had an
yeah, yeah.
A&W. Yeah,
Well,
but that's gone now too.
did you do the have you done A&W recently?
No.
Okay, all right, because they do them in Kentucky Fried Chickens now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, they'll have an A&W. I remember when A&W was a big thing, and they went out, and then I think it was the early 2000s or maybe late 90s that they started reopening the A&Ws in Kentucky Fried Chickens.
Hmm.
Um,
Sean says to Thrash and Retro Cereal, I'm going to take pictures of the drive-in and the arcade bar in town for you guys. Please do. Love to see it.
yeah, by all means, please do. All right, let's see. Um,
Oh, Cindy D says, yes, Tracy, they were so fun. Dave and Buster's try to carry loose on.
Goes on, I think is what you meant.
I think
Let's
you're
see.
right. I tend to read in the vernacular. Lynn Chafin says Kmart, Venture, TG, and Y.
I know Kmart, but I don't know the other two. Do you know the other two or no?
No, I'm not familiar. I do
I'm
know
not
Kmart.
either. Yeah, Kmart. I feel bad for Kmart, you know. I mean, I feel bad.
I know
There
TGIF.
yeah. I don't know the other one, but I feel bad for Kmart because Kmart just had the total potential to stay with it, but they just got closed out by Walmart and Target. And nothing they could really turn it around.
Well, they had that buyout with Sears, and talk about hitching your wagon to a falling star.
Yeah.
You know, they do classes in business school to show how poorly Sears stayed with the times. You know, it was
Oh,
like
okay.
a legendary economic blunder. And Cameron's like,
Oh,
"Oh yeah, we'll join up with Sears." It's like, really? Okay,
put two sinking ships together and see if they'll float,
and have them
right?
crash.
Right. The what was I going to say? I was going to say something about well, it's another Nate Bargatze joke, but he's talking about Kmart. He says I'm a Walmart guy. I'm in the middle because I'm not Target. I don't come from old money. He goes, but I like Walmart. He goes Kmart, and this is back when Kmart was still a thing. He's just like Kmart. They don't look like they're even open. They're not even trying. Like you go into a Kmart and you're like, hey, are you guys gonna turn the lights on over there?
True story. They closed the one in Hyannis, so I'd say a couple of years. I think it was actually right around the time of the pandemic, but it was definitely going downhill, and they just had like whole racks, like whole aisles, just didn't even have merchandise in it.
Yeah.
And I remember this shows how far down it had gone. I had gotten in line at a register. I didn't see the clerk there. I figured he was either helping somebody find something or just had to step away. And I'm looking around like this, and I notice there's an employee very nonchalantly buying something at another register. And it's okay for employees to make purchases. Maybe he's going home for the day and wants a soda for the ride home. Maybe he's on break. But and he's like counting out change, like again, like he has all the time in the world. And then he grabs a soda and he just sort of and comes up to the register, my register. And I'm like, it's like things are so slow that you think it's okay to just step away, like no one's gonna notice. Like I'll leave for 5-10 minutes, get something to drink. No one's gonna come to this register anyway.
Oh my goodness!
And I was like, you know.
Well, that's what starts happening too. Is then the customer service starts going downhill in a lot of those places. Yeah. That's a bummer when that starts happening.
I mean, I felt bad for the kid. I mean, if it's that slow, I mean, you got days left in your store. But...
Right. I just wanted to say hi to someone here.
Oh, hey, Crow Minion, how's it going? Good to see you, Crow Minion. Said Woot, Lance, Kmart, and TG and Y. There's a bell ringing. I just can't place the TG and Y.
I don't know.
I wonder why.
Let's see. Superplex also writes
99-cent stores that are truly 99-cent stores.
There was a dollar store for a while, but even they started going up in their prices. Now there's this thing called Five Below. Remember Five Below?
We still have one in Hyannis. They're not bad. You know,
they're just kind of more cheap stores where
cheesy. Yeah.
Yes.
Corbin said Fuddruckers was awesome. I absolutely love their burgers. And again, at one point they were the fastest growing franchise in the country. But it was weird they couldn't balance that cost effective versus gimmick. You know, it's like there was a place on Cape Cod. I keep talking about Cape Cod tonight for some reason, but there was a place on Cape Cod. It was called Mildred's Chowder House. It was world renowned. People came from all over New England to go to Mildred's Chowder House. And I remember when the parents who owned it were getting on in years, they ended up selling it. And what's the first thing the new owners do? We're going to tweak the chowder recipe to make it more cost effective.
No.
Guess what happened in a year?
They were out of business. Mom and Pa.
It's now a vacant lot. John Collins says, Bob, did you enjoy my post when I mentioned Hedy Lamarr and Dave? I thought I sent you a message about that. Yes, it was great. I love that post.
Let's see.
Ooh, Tim has a good one. Tim has a good one about closed stores.
Drive-ins, and let's hang on. I'll get to it.
Crewman says, I love those big container of liquid cheese with the pump handle at the top at Fuddruckers. I remember those. Yeah, there was like ketchup in the theaters, you know?
Yeah.
Cindy D says, disco skating rink, so much fun on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Love the skating rink.
Tracy says, Kramer pizza idea.
Maybe she's talking about your idea. Maybe Kramer
had a similar idea.
Or something.
He did have an idea about pizza, but I can't remember what it was. There's a bell ringing in my head. My tinnitus is awful tonight. But he did have an idea about a pizza place, now that you mention it. Cindy D says, big cheese pizza. Oh, no, there'd be toppings.
Oh. Maybe that's the name of a pizza place.
It was. I was being a wise guy.
I haven't ever heard of that big cheese pizza.
I've heard of Chuck E. Cheese.
Let's see. One more here.
Lynn says, how about to be continued or cliffhangers till next fall? They still don't do those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Criminian said, I had huge stacks of gun and motorcycle magazines in my room as a teen. They were lost in a move, sadly. Breaks your heart, doesn't it?
Let's see.
Oh, Scott Barnes says, Lance Chafin, I hated cliffhangers. I've gotten spoiled with streaming.
Yeah, and you just kind of wait till the seasons or till the show's over or whatever.
And then binge watch.
Watch it right on. All right, let's see. Here we got this one here.
Criminian says, don't know if I mentioned yet, but the Walkman was truly revolutionary. So glad I got it at the beginning of that and was able to grow up with music on the go. Likewise,
Yeah.
I am sure.
For sure. Let's see. Wait, well, I think they're talking back and forth there. Okay.
John Ennis says, I'm looking at my cassette to cassette CD player right now, not hooked up.
Yeah,
Hook it
I
up,
do.
man.
I have that. I have that as part of my backdrop. As one of the things that I brought here. I haven't really had a because I'm just in a smaller room. I haven't really had a place to kind of set things up yet, but who knows and what'll happen in the future.
Cindy says, how do you mend a broken heart? Loved the Al Green version from Notting Hill. Lance Chafe.
Yeah.
Kevin Davis says, sorry for being here for a short time, but I have to split. I have some stuff to take care of. You all have a good night. You too, Kevin.
See you later, Kevin.
Zublik says, I remember Easter seals, which were stamps for charity. What they were good for, I have no idea, but they disappeared in the 80s.
The Easter seals. I do remember that in the big Easter seal drive.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
I sure
big,
do.
Yeah, I don't know if they were stamps that you could actually use or not, but
Maybe because the seals became endangered.
I think
Sorry.
all seals.
Ted says, back in the day, some TV shows which were filmed on videotape had to be taped over and wiped their episodes for cheap so that the footage can no longer be used. That happened with a lot of the old Doctor Who stuff. Gone.
Oh, did it? Oh, no.
Gone.
How? But what a bummer. What a bummer. Oh, what a bummer that is, for sure. He beamed out. Let's see. What's this one?
Cindy D says, little black books men can't call now. They can swipe. LOL.
Oh, little black books. Yeah.
Holler back.
Yeah.
Zublik says, the Illuminati at work. Shh, you've said too much. Ixnay, the Illuminati. Jay by proxy says, I used to take my phone off the hook because I didn't want to talk to anyone. Now everyone drops whatever they are doing to answer the call. You have said a mouthful.
Jay by proxy. I don't know. That's well, I don't know if he wants me to tell who that is. So if you want people to know who you are, Jay by proxy, I know who you are. Everybody here knows you, but I don't know if you want people to know your new thing here. So anyway, we'll keep a lid on it until I was about to say who you are, but then I thought, well, maybe he doesn't. That's why he changed the name here. So
having sufficiently muddled the mix. Oh, Keith E says, okay, Thresh, if you're coming back from the future, come back now. I was in the future?
I don't know.
I've seen the future, baby, and it's murder. Bring me back the Berlin Wall. Bring me Stalin and St. Paul. Sorry, I was gone for a moment.
I was enjoying it. It was good stuff, man.
Thank you. Leonard Cohen fan way back when. Sorry. Crow Minion said, I remember always being sent out with a quarter in case I need to call via the payphone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. The payphone was a big deal. I remember having an extra quarter with me.
Emergency phone money in case something went awry. Emergency phone money so I could call for a ride. Yep, definitely.
All right.
Remember those shoes that used to have pennies in them?
Oh, yeah, penny loafers.
Yeah, I had a pair where I put dimes in them for just such a reason.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Oh, wait a minute.
Daryl Johnson says, still have a landline. But here's a question for you. Is it actually a designated landline, or is it just a corded phone through your computer?
Yeah.
Because I have a house line, but it's all through my internet.
It's a computer thing, yeah.
Cindy D says, for machines, I told the story of my 22-year-old daughter that didn't understand what it was. Oh, I'm sorry. Fax machines, not for machines. I'm wearing my wife's glasses again, by the way. I'm sorry. Fax machines, yes.
Fax machines. Yes, I heard
Just a fax
22-year-old
man.
daughter did not know what a fax machine was. That is crazy. Yeah,
Just a
fax
fax,
machines
man.
are I don't know if anybody uses them anymore. I know I haven't used them in years. So
Crow Minion says, remember the horrible sound system in drive-in theaters back in the day? You'd frequently have to repeat your order or just pull up the window to give it. Drive-throughs. I see. That was not drive-throughs back in the day. Yes, I do. There was a song about that where the guy keeps having them say the order backwards.
yeah, right on.
Wasn't Jack in the Box the first drive-through?
Maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. I remember thinking, "Oh, that's interesting."
And
Uh,
it looked like a clown. You drove up to
yeah,
the clown head and you would tell the clown your order. I'm having
yeah.
flashbacks from when I was a little kid. I get that a lot, actually. AJ, my DJ. Hello, AJ, my DJ. Says ENC Retro Serials very
Very
own Eon.
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 Hey,
Very own
AJ.
Eon.
AJ is one of my really good friends since I've moved here to Nashville. He's a DJ here, obviously. AJ, my DJ, and he's got a fantastic show that he does over at one of the local pubs that I go to very often. We've missed you this week. We need you back. Nobody can be a DJ like AJ can. I'm really looking forward to having you back and doing the Saturday or Friday and Sunday nights. He runs the karaoke and he also does dance party with it too. So I'm on stage a lot with AJ. So I get up there and dance and do some music, and it's great. We have a really really good time. He's the guy who's going to be on one of these days to talk about DJing.
Oh, awesome. Love it. Love it. Tab says, which classic sitcom do you really like the most? Happy Days, Family Ties, Saved by the Bell, Seinfeld, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, That 70s Show, Curb Your Enthusiasm, or The Office?
Ooh. So at the time I'm going through these, like Family Ties would have been like my favorite in the 80s. That was like my favorite show, like in the 80s. It was really one of my all-time favorite shows. I still enjoy it now, but I don't enjoy it as much as I did then. And part of it is that whole trope. It's a little cheesy, it's a little predictable, it's a little preachy. So I don't really care for it as much. I mean, I still like it, but it's not quite what it was when I saw it. But I still really do love it. Uh, Happy Days was great, but I was too young, and I was never truly into it. Saved by the Bell was one of those guilty pleasures. It was so awful, but I loved it so much. And let's see, Seinfeld was a show that I did enjoy, but I didn't really get into it as much as I should. It's one of the truly greatest shows ever, and I do understand that. And it did help change television, especially during the 90s, from the 80s to the 90s. It was one of the three biggest shows to ever change television. The others being Married with Children, and I forgot the other one. There was another one that I was thinking that was like very significant shift. But
Simpsons?
maybe it was The Simpsons. Yeah, I think probably that definitely fits.
It brought back primetime animation, you know.
Yeah, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. See, I loved Will Smith as a rap artist, especially, you know, the parents just don't understand stuff. But I just never got into The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, I enjoyed it when it was on, but I never watched it consistently enough. Curb Your Enthusiasm, I don't know. I haven't even seen an episode. That 70s Show, loved it, loved it, loved it. The Office, also loved it a lot. Now, if you're asking me to pick, this is going to be hard to pick. With all that said, probably one of the funniest shows is That 70s Show, just as far as straight out laughs are concerned. But as far as laughs are concerned and me really loving the cast, it's gonna go to The Office with a Family Ties close second. Because even though Family Ties is a little tropey and a little predictable, um, I still really love the people, the characters. I love the mom and the dad, and I mean, they're people who are really endearing to you as fictional characters, but the laughs aren't quite there. So probably number one for me is going to be The Office, because not only do I love all the people on The Office, I'm endeared to their characters. The show's actually very well written and very, very funny. So that's what I have to pick over with all that. Thrasher, welcome to follow that up with however you want to follow it up.
I would have to say, I never watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. It wasn't that I had anything against it. I think it was just on against something that I did watch. And I never watched Saved by the Bell. Outside of my age bracket, I was a little too old by that point. I do have a question. It just came up. In the first season, now, Screech is known for being not just a geek, but not altogether there. In the first season, wasn't he like a super genius? Wasn't he like one of those intelligent type geeks, but they reinvented the character for later seasons? Correct me if I'm
I
wrong.
don't know. I don't know. I did watch a number of Saved by the Bell episodes, but I don't. And it obvious and Saved by the Bell was a spinoff of another show. I don't know.
Yes.
I forgot what it was, um,
Yeah.
but I don't
Miss
really
Belding or something.
remember. Yeah, Miss.
Yeah.
That's right. But I
Mm.
don't really remember a significant change. Like Screech was smart. I don't remember that, but it might have been. I don't
It's
remember.
all good. Loved Happy Days, of course. Loved Family Ties. I did watch The Fresh Prince of Bel Air from time to time. I was in college at the time, so I didn't watch a lot of primetime TV. But I would have to go as far as my favorites would go. The Office, definitely, and Seinfeld. I kind of got into the Seinfeld on the ground floor because
Oh, good.
I was a fan of his stand-up comedy before I was a fan of the show. So I'm like, oh my god, that's the guy who did the whole parrot sketch. Oh my god, he's hysterical. So while the show was it was floundering for like the first season, it was almost canceled, and I think I just crashed. But it's okay. We only got a little while to go. So, but I was watching it from the get go because I thought Jerry Seinfeld was great. So I would probably have to go Seinfeld with The
Yeah.
Office to be my close second.
Oh, Seinfeld would be a first. It would be a first for a lot of people. It really did change television. However, if you gave me a choice as far as favorite sitcoms go, probably of all time, it would definitely have to be, definitely have to be Arrested Development. Arrested Development, Friends would be another one that would be an all-time favorite. I don't know. It would be tough to choose. You can still read though, Thrash.
Oh, I
Your
sure can.
picture's frozen.
Danny Staten says in South Carolina, the A and W are in the Long John Silvers. Oh, that's a good pairing.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. A&W in the Long John Silvers. Long John Silvers, those and Skippers. I haven't seen those for a while actually, but let's see what else do we have here. I don't want to miss anything. Sorry. Target, old money. Let's see. Here's one.
Cindy D says Sears was the first Amazon. Its catalog was legendary. The Christmas Wish Book. I worked there for 9 years in the 80s. They couldn't
Oh, sorry. Go
keep
ahead.
up with the times or didn't try to. No, that was actually what I learned in business school. At its peak, Sears and Roebuck represented 1% of the global, not American, 1% of the global national product. But what happened was they were so on such a high plateau that they didn't bother to modernize even when they really should have. And it was around the 80s when they realized that they had lost too much ground, and that's when they tried to reinvent themselves. But it was too little, too late.
Yeah.
But yes, think about it. At one time, they were 1% of the global gross national product, and in 40 years, they go chapter 11.
Oh,
Yeah.
bummer.
Oh, Ken Wilkinson says, "Good evening, Tom."
Yeah. Well, good evening, Ken. If I
Yes.
missed you earlier, I'm sorry. And I
Wajimeen is
want,
here. Says,
yes.
"Sorry, I'm late. Hello, everyone."
Yeah, I wanted to just say hi to Keith and or Kenneth and Wajimeen. And let's see. I'm trying to see ones that I missed because I went down to the bottom real quick because I hit that scroll to the bottom, and there was something that said I was missing a lot of I'm missing a lot of them. Oh man, I probably am. I apologize if I'm missing them. Time's wearing on. I'm not a great reader, and we all know how that works.
Now,
All
hopefully
right,
next week you'll be able to have me on. By the way,
I
and
am
then
hoping.
I can do the comments while you do your impresario thing.
Yeah. That's what we're gonna aim for. Hopefully that they
And I
will
too
get that back.
apologize if we missed anybody again this week. Very sorry, but next week we'll have it knocked. I promise.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. See, Superplex here is writing. ENC, you are missing a
Missing a
lot.
lot.
I'm
Oh,
sure I did. If you can see something too, just yell at me, say it's above this comment or below the comment or something like that.
Keithy, right before the bottom. Keithy says, "Chibaga, chibaga, chibaga, Pepsi, 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 no Coke."
What's that from?
That's from
Oh, from
SNL.
SNL. That's right,
From
right.
SNL. It's so funny. This is a true story. This is years ago. I was working with a millennial, and I was waiting tables, and this person ordered a Coke to drink, and I said, "No Coke, Pepsi," and they laughed. But when I went back inside to get their drinks, this millennial I was working with, sweet girl, but had no idea what I was talking about. She goes, "Bob, don't ever yell at a customer like that." And I started laughing, and I go, "That's a bit. We were doing a bit," and I had to explain to her on the fly this SNL bit.
It's an
She thought I was just
SNL
having
bit.
an episode. Like, oh yeah, Bob's sick of people asking him for Coke, so he started snapping at them. No, it's the shtick. AJ, my DJ, says, "You want a Pepsi, pal? You gotta pay for it."
Yeah, I remember that one. It was a
I want a
Pepsi
Pepsi free,
Pepsi
which they also don't make
free.
anymore.
No, that was caffeine free.
No, you know
That
what Pepsi free was?
it was
It wasn't
caffeine
caffeine
free.
free. It was no pep. The caffeine free came later. RC Cola was the one who started the caffeine free cola market. Pepsi free was sort of like Tab. It was Pepsi with no calories, and they added.
No.
No, I know this for a fact because my mother
All
drank
right.
Pepsi free,
Are you
and they
sure?
added a lemon taste to it to mask the flavor of the saccharin.
Oh,
Pepsi free was a lemon
okay.
flavored diet Pepsi drink. I
All
will
right.
bet
I'm
you
gonna
$1.
no. Okay. All right. No, because okay,
Hmm.
what was Pepsi free? I have to find this out because I was
Yeah.
almost sure that it was
Yeah.
Look, okay, it says here caffeine-free Pepsi, a version of the cola Pepsi that omits caffeine that was customarily part of the cola. It was introduced under the name Pepsi Free in 1982 by Pepsi Company, and it was 99.7% caffeine free. I knew it. But let me tell you why I knew it. Okay,
I
let me tell you.
yield.
Let me tell you because I lived in Utah,
Uh-huh.
and Utah is a highly dense population of what religion?
Mormons who can't drink caffeine.
Mormons who can't drink caffeine. And I remember when Pepsi Free came out, it was like the biggest thing. It was because they were like, oh, everybody's all of a sudden drinking Pepsi because they could drink Pepsi Free. So that's why I just didn't want to think I was going crazy. That's all. I wasn't trying to challenge or anything like that. But I do
I
remember. No,
yield.
what was the? I thought it was just called. What was the Diet Pepsi? I know they had Diet Pepsi though. I thought it was just called Diet Pepsi, but I don't know. No, I know Pepsi Free was the caffeine free version because the Mormons just went nuts when they could
Bonkers.
finally drink when they could drink it in public. They were always drinking it in private.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
No,
I know.
really. This is gonna sound like a really stupid question. I actually heard somewhere that coffee and tea was around at the time of Brigham Young, so they had rulings on it. But cola products didn't come out until much later. So I thought actually the Church of Latter Day Saints um, had no official ruling, and it was basically up to the individual, shall we say, parishioner, or however they refer to it, on whether or not it's okay. I could be wrong,
No,
but I thought that was the case.
it's really interesting because it's a bit of a misnomer. It's out of so the LDS Church has four sacred writings. They have the
Mhm.
Book of Mormon, they have the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Pearl of Great Price, and the Doctrine and Covenants. Those are their four major. And the fourth one is called the Doctrine and Covenants. And in the Doctrine of Covenants, it
Mhm.
talks about hot drinks being bad for the belly and to abstain from hot
Ah.
drinks.
Including
And
hot chocolate?
well, somehow,
Mhm.
and I don't know how because I've read a lot of the literature, but
Mhm.
somehow it changed to don't drink caffeine because they would still
Uh-huh.
drink hot chocolate and they would still drink tea, but they wouldn't drink coffee.
Uh-huh.
And so it became this thing that I have coffee, and then when you had cola come out, they were like, "Well, we don't drink cola either. We just stay away from caffeine." But there really
Ah.
wasn't anything in any of their official books that says don't drink caffeine. It talks about smoking and chewing and strong drink and things like that. So I don't
Hmm.
know. It's more of a Mormon culture, like so much part of their culture that it's instituted, but it's not official. It's kind of weird. It's not official.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So anyway, that'll
that.
be the end of our religious talking.
Yeah.
Unless somebody brings it up. Yeah. Well, but here's the deal, though: is somebody says Brigham Young passed away in 1877 before cola. That's fine, but they believe in a current succession of prophets. So even if Brigham Young passed away, along with Joseph Smith, who was the founding prophet of the Mormon Church, they still have modern day prophets that dictate to their church what they should and shouldn't believe and do. So it doesn't matter that Brigham Young passed away before, because the modern prophet can always speak to whatever issue they need to have spoken to. And I'm not Mormon, by the way. It's just so I'm just giving you the facts here. All right. Let's see. There's one here.
John Innes says, my great grandmother Frank's some energy drink, but no one knew that it was 12% alcohol.
Woo!
Wow.
What about this one?
Oh, Les Javen says, anyone remember Slice? Oh,
I
yes.
remember Slice.
I loved Orange Slice.
It was
Orange
good
Slice was my
stuff.
favorite. Hmm.
It was kind of the um, it was kind of the what the competition for Sprite and 7-Up, wasn't it?
Yes, and later Sierra Mist, which I heard someone they're taking Sierra Mist off the market and replacing it with a different lemon drink.
Yeah.
Sean Innes says, yeah, but the Mormons owned so much stock in Coke that they relaxed their caffeinated soda bans. Half my family are Mormons.
Yeah. They have laxed. I think they did lax them a little while ago. It's like what became weird is they wouldn't drink coffee, but then they would drink Coke. So it's just kind of like okay, but they would drink hot chocolate and tea, just not coffee. But then
Now
they
I'm
would
with you.
drink Coke. So it's just kind of weird. Let's see. I mean, I'm missing a bunch of these. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little fatigued here.
Keith E says, are C and Diet Right still in this part of Tennessee?
Still in this part of Tennessee, RC and Diet Right.
I believe that
Uh,
RC is actually the letters RC. I believe Surrey straitjacketed him again, as in RC Cola. And
oh,
there is a diet soda called Diet Right.
yeah.
Which last time I saw it, you see it at like conventions and stuff because it's industrialized.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I haven't seen Diet Right in a long time, but I know RC Cola is still good, solid cola. Excuse me. Oh, I figured out what was wrong with me.
Oh, what
By the
was it?
way, it's allergies. I
Oh
am
no.
not used to the flora of this area. And so it is just sticking in my throat because I don't feel sick otherwise. But I
Oh
am
really?
just stuffed and my nose is running and my throat is dry and I get this little itch on the back of my throat and stuff like that. So,
Bummer.
anyway. All right. Well, folks, I think we're going to kind of come to an end here. And again, most sorry if I started skipping there, especially because I'm going through them and then we get to the end of the show and I want to make sure that I get down, and if people have already fed in like several comments, I try to look for maybe some newer or longer comments, and I'm a bad reader anyway, and so all these things kind of come to a cacophony of just not being able to catch everything that we want to catch and being able to not distinguish. Sometimes what'll happen is I won't be able to distinguish like a line that's meant to be a comment or a line that's supposed to be like you guys interacting. So it won't catch my eye quite right. And I look back and I saw a couple of lines that were, meant to be on the program, but they were jumbled with like lines with people talking back and forth. And so my eye just missed them. But I apologize. But other than that, we are going to come to an end to the show. And I just want to thank you all so much and tell you how much I love each and every one of you.
I had a
And that I'm
blast, folks. Thank you.
yeah, it was been so great. And let's hope next time, finally, I figured out what the problem is, but this site's not cooperating with me on it, even though I'm doing it right. The site's telling me I'm not doing it right. So we'll have to just give it some time here, and I'll try to reintroduce Thrash Pondo Ponz's name into my share table or whatever it is as a co-host, and hopefully that will do it. So hopefully next week we'll be back to normal, whatever normal is for us. All right, my friend. All right, so take care. Thank you, Thrash, so much for all your help.
Well, thank you.
And let's I'm sorry.
Richard Nerdgirl just got here.
Yeah.
Richard Nerdgirl says, I just got home to catch this. Oh,
no,
well, enjoy it in replay. So sorry.
Yeah, enjoy it in replay. But Retro Nerd Girl, you have to be on the podcast one of these days. Okay. So I don't know, put me on your list as far as being on my podcast, please.
And that goes double for me.
No, it goes triple for me. And
okay. You win.
And I'll just keep going to 1,000 infinity. I will get so immature on this channel, Thrash. I mean, I will be very immature.
Will be very immature.
Oh, well, more immature than I am currently. All right, folks. We'll see you. Take care.
Peace, everyone. Take care.